Welcome back to Fund Your Future with DRS. And this episode is especially for all of our Plan 3 members. So we know that one of the challenges of saving for retirement can be trying to figure out how much you can spend from your investment account once you retire. And to help with this, some people choose to purchase an annuity. And for those who don't know, an annuity kind of works like a reverse life insurance policy. You pay a lump sum, say $25,000, and that guarantees you monthly income for your lifetime. And the more money you pay up front, the larger your monthly payment will be. And there's all sorts of options out there for annuities from private companies and DRS, but Plan 3 members have access to a TAP annuity that has a lot of great benefits that other annuities don't. So today we have Malia from our team here to help us learn more about the TAP annuity. Welcome, Malia.
Thank you.
So, Malia, sometimes when people hear the word annuity, it provides like an immediate negative reaction. Can you tell us just kind of at a high level why a Plan 3 member might want to be aware of this feature within their plan?
Yeah, that's such a great question because I know for a lot of customers, that's their initial reaction is they're used to hearing about annuities in a private sector space or through insurance companies, which typically has a lot of hidden tricks and bells and whistles or costs that they may not be aware of. And so it definitely has that jarring reaction for them. The first and foremost thing that I want to say about the TAP annuity is that it is guaranteed through the state of Washington. So the same people who are paying you your defined benefit, so that pension that you're getting from working that you contribute or that your employer contributed to and you earn service credit on, the same funding for that is what pays you your TAP annuity. So I think that's something that is really great for people to hear about that they are not aware of. I think that a lot of people tend to think that these are being offered by our record keepers, or maybe we have a contract with a private insurance company, but it is through the state of Washington. And so that's one thing that I think is really important for people to understand that this is basically giving you the option to take that money that you've put in that's been invested and be able to turn it into essentially a second pension that you're getting from us for the rest of your lifetime.
That's great. So, I mentioned in the opening that, we know that the TAP annuity has a lot of great benefits. Can you tell us a little bit about what makes the TAP annuity unique and maybe why it's a little bit better option than others?
Sure. So, again, like I said, it's administered by the state of Washington, which means that it basically follows all the same features as your regular pension benefit. So, that includes things like your ability to name a survivor, which is basically where you pick someone, whether it's a spouse or not, and you will get an actuarial reduction based on your difference in age, but they can receive a lifetime benefit for the rest of their life after you die. There's also the balance refund upon death. So if you put $500,000 into the annuity and you pass away after only 200,000's been paid out to you, that remaining 300,000 would be paid out to your beneficiary if you elected no survivor, for instance. So you said, I just want to get the maximum amount for my lifetime. You know that what you're going to put in is guaranteed to be paid out to someone that you name or yourself, depending on how long you live. And I think the most attractive feature of our TAP annuity is that you get a guaranteed 3% cost of living adjustment every year for the rest of your lifetime. And if you pick a survivor, like I mentioned earlier, they get that guaranteed 3% increase for the rest of their lifetime as well. And that is incredibly unique. Even our pensions, actually, the cost of living adjustment is based off of consumer price index, inflation, all kinds of factors. Versus the TAP annuity, we say, no, you're just going to get that 3% increase every year for the rest of the lifetime of the annuity.
That's awesome. And you had mentioned that other annuities don't offer this cost of living adjustment.
Some do, some don't. It's not a typical feature that you see. A lot of times you're either paying for that increase, so you're actually taking a smaller monthly benefit to get it later down the line, or it's all based off of inflation. But this one is the only one that I've seen where it's just guaranteed 3%. This is what you get for the rest of the lifetime of the annuity.
So, Malia, at DRS, we have a number of different ways people can increase their pension amount. And as you mentioned, using your investment account as a Plan 3 member and converting it to a TAP annuity is one way to increase your pension amount. But we have some other options where people can purchase an additional service credit, or they can purchase an additional annuity when they retire. And those features are open to both Plan 2 and 3 members. But could you tell us a little bit about what the differences are between the TAP annuity and some of those other like purchase service credit that a Plan 2 or 3 member could do?
Sure. So, first and foremost, we'll just get it out of the way, funding source. And what that means with the TAP annuity is you can only use the money that's in your investment account to purchase this TAP annuity. Now, some people may not have enough in there, or maybe they have money that they've invested outside in an IRA or something like that. Those are the kinds of funds that can be used for a purchase service credit or potentially a purchase additional annuity. Second, the biggest thing is that the TAP annuity is a separate check from your monthly benefit. And you actually don't need to be eligible for a monthly benefit to get a TAP annuity. So you could decide to leave working when you're 40 years old, clearly not eligible to retire, but you have enough money, the minimum is 25,000 for a TAP annuity in your Plan 3 account, and you could start drawing a lifetime monthly benefit at that time. Versus purchase service credit or purchase additional annuity, because that tacks on to your retirement benefit, you have to be eligible to draw that lifetime monthly benefit through the pension side. So those are only at the time that you retire, and they get added to that benefit. It is not a separate check. So those are kind of the key differences, in addition to what I had alluded to earlier about the cost of living adjustment. Purchase service credit, purchase additional annuity, because it's part of your monthly benefit. Cost of living adjustments are based on inflation, and it's not that guaranteed 3% like you get with the TAP annuity. And the one thing that I also think is one of the most attractive features as well is with your retirement benefit, when you start drawing it, if you go back to work, it may stop depending on how many hours you work or what you're doing. There's all kinds of rules around that, which you can find on the DRS website. But for the TAP annuity, it will continue if you go back to work. So that's something that's kind of nice for people to know about, is that once you start getting it, it's yours for life.
Yeah, and one of the other features I've heard as well is that you can also purchase this TAP annuity at any age. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, exactly. So, like I said, you don't have to be eligible for the pension to be able to get your TAP annuity. You can do it at any age. The one trick is you only get to do it once in your lifetime. So, you don't get to stop working when you're 40 and say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and purchase this annuity, but I'm not going to do my whole account balance because I want to purchase one later. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You only get one in your lifetime. So it is something that you need to think about, like if you want to do your full account balance or maybe just part of it. But it's really, really great for our Plan 3 members in particular, because sometimes, a lot of times, they want to stop working before 65 or whatever age they're eligible based on their service credit. And they want to take advantage of something that's called indexing, which there's lots of information out on the DRS website about that, where basically they get a more favorable benefit if they delay drawing it. But sometimes you need income between when those two events occur. And the TAP annuity, you can start at that time. It's completely independent from your pension. So that's something that's really nice. And also, I'll just throw out there as well, if you are a Plan 2 member, but you received Plan 3 funds as a beneficiary, maybe you had a spouse or a parent or someone that passed away and you have a Plan 3 account from them, you can purchase this TAP annuity through that as well. So that's just something that is kind of a fun little fact about the TAP annuities.
One of the things, Jenny, I think you and I have talked on a previous episode about doing kind of a financial check-in, like a personal financial check-in every 6 months or every quarter, every year. One of the things I actually do, I'm Plan 3 member. I look at my Plan 3 account balance every 6 months, and I calculate how much would a TAP annuity be if I bought it right now with the balance I have. So just kind of to see how much income could I replace today with this Plan 3 balance that I have. Because as Malia said, that it's one of the huge advantages of the TAP annuity is I could start it at 45 or 55 or 72, or it's any different age. And so it gives you some more flexibility on thinking about income replacement and making sure that you kind of have all your bills paid. That's the other thing I think sometimes people look at with the TAP annuity is I need to have $1,500 more of monthly income to cover my set fixed expenses. So then I can go purchase a TAP annuity for that amount and then have my additional funds available to me because I want to go buy a boat or motorhome or something.
It's a great segue to say that on the DRS website on our calculators page, we have a Plan 3 TAP Annuity calculator.
Say that's exactly right. What you're saying, Seth. I think when people make their plan choice, or maybe the choice was made for them, depending on what plan they're in and who they are, we talk about how Plan 3, one of the hugest benefits of it is flexibility. And I think this is one of the most misunderstood features of just how much flexibility you get by being a Plan 3 member. A lot of times I've seen Plan 3 members who actually end up getting more because of a TAP annuity and their investments doing so well than if they had been in Plan 2. But you get that option, just like you said, where if you have $500,000 in your account, you don't have to buy it for all 500,000. You can say, I need guaranteed income of 2,000 or whatever amount, just like you said. And I'm going to keep that other 300,000 for if I have a medical emergency, or maybe I just want to go on a month-long vacation to Tahiti or whatever it may be. You get that flexibility, you get that control. And this option is one of the reasons why it's so important to be engaged with your retirement from an earlier age, especially as Plan 3, just like Seth said, paying attention to that balance, because that is half your retirement and you get the choices to decide what you're going to do with that.
It's really key when people are thinking about purchasing an annuity. This is really the point that people are trying to figure out is, would I rather have the stability of the guaranteed income, or would I rather have the flexibility of this lump sum of money that is in my investment account? And it's a really personal decision. It depends on what other guaranteed income you have from a pension or Social Security. It depends on what other investment accounts you have and that flexibility for more liquid kind of lump sums amount of money. So there's really no right answer for people. You have to look at your total overall financial picture when you're making these decisions. But it is a really beneficial feature to have in Plan 3 that, as Malia said, many people overlook or forget about or don't realize. And it's one of the reasons we wanted to have this episode.
Yeah, especially, just a shout out. I'm sure most people listening to this are people who are nearing retirement. But if anybody's listening who is making their plan choices or thinking about it, really think about how this can be such a benefit for you. To help supplement that income, because our lifestyles have changed so much over the last so many years. We have people who now no longer own their own homes by the time they're retired, or they have children in college, and you need that guaranteed monthly income to make sure your needs are met. And so those are important things to take into consideration as well as you're making these decisions.
That's great. So, yeah, we've talked about how this is obviously a really good option, and it almost sounds too good to be true. Can you talk a little bit about how the state can offer this?
That's a great question, Jenny. And you're not the only one who has had this question for us before, because it does almost feel like if you sign today, you're going to get this awesome thing. And so the best way that I like to explain it is it's a win-win situation. So you as the customer are going to get that option of being able to say, I want this guaranteed income for life. I want to be able to get this 3% increase that's going to increase for the rest of my lifetime, and any survivors. The state gets to keep the money that you use to purchase and continue to invest it. And the thing that's important to remember is we have people who are starting in the pension system who are 18 years old. So we will be able to invest this for the next 50, 100, 150 years, however long it is, and get the gains and losses on that. So again, it's a win-win. We have the time to ride out the waves of the market as the state that you may not have the time to do when you're making these crucial decisions in your retirement years, and maybe you need that more stable income where you don't have as much risk tolerance. So again, it's kind of a win-win. You get that lifetime income, we get to continue to invest that money well beyond when you would have been able to.
Malia, where would somebody want to go? So they've listened to this episode, they want to go do some more research, they want to think about what other resources are available for people to learn more about the TAP annuity. Where should they go, or where should they ask questions?
So first and foremost, I would say definitely check out on the DRS website, so drs.wa.gov. If you go into the plan section and you pick your plan, there's a really great FAQ kind of about the TAP annuity, where it's going to tell you all the details that we probably didn't mention about this option that's available to you and what you can do. There's also a video out there for you to be able to watch to get more information about the TAP annuity, as well as that all important annuity calculator, where if you log into your online account, and you can just click on your plan three, get your balance, and be able to plug that balance in or run different scenarios for yourself. So the DRS website is such a great place for articles and videos, as well as accessing that calculator. If you have kind of more direct questions about it, you can always call DRS to find out how it might work in addition to your monthly benefit. Maybe you need that information as well. But when it comes time to actually purchase it, you say, "Hey, I'm ready. This is what I want to do." Then you will work with our record keeper, which is Voya Financial, and you can call them or you can go online to their site to be able to do the TAP annuity purchase.
That's fantastic. So, one question that I had was about taxes. So, obviously, if I have my money in the stock market and I'm taking that out, I'm paying taxes on that money. Do I have to pay taxes on my income from a TAP annuity?
Yeah, so your TAP annuity, again, it's basically turning it into like a second pension. It'll work exactly like your pension does, where you pay taxes on it in a form of income. So what that means is whatever amount you decide for your TAP annuity. So if that's $2,000 a month or whatever it comes out to be based off your purchase, that's just reported as income to the IRS. And based on your individual tax bracket, you will owe taxes just like you would with a paycheck, basically. So that is one thing that's really nice when you take something out as a lump sum and you say, "I'm going to take $50,000 out to buy whatever, a new car with." You are paying taxes on that $50,000 all at one time. So that is one benefit of the TAP annuity, as well as you're spreading these payments out for a lifetime, which can help lower that tax burden that you might get as opposed to taking it as a lump sum. But again, really the best place to find out what kind of taxes you would owe and all of that is to talk to a tax advisor.
Sure.
I just really appreciate the point that you made earlier, Malia, that Plan 3 does have more flexibility, and sometimes that flexibility and complexity can feel overwhelming to people. But in a lot of ways, the best thing you can do is learn more about your plan, learn about what the options are, learn about the way it works, and then figure out how to make it work the best for you. And for some people, the TAP annuity is going to be a really wonderful option. For other people, it might not make as much sense. But we really want to make sure people understand and know that they have this benefit within their plan.
Exactly. And because, I just want to point out too, there's people who may have retirements from other places, whether they've worked in the private sector, or maybe they worked for another state or, the city of Seattle or Tacoma or something. And those plans don't have this TAP annuity option, but they may have something like with deferred compensation accounts or something like that, different annuities that are available. And so that's why it's important to find out more about what features are there. Sometimes with those types of annuities, they don't truly pay for your lifetime versus ours will. So if you live to be 120 years old, you will get that monthly benefit all the way until you're 120 years old. And it doesn't ever stop. So again, it's just something to think about that our annuity is a very unique and special feature. And just because you've heard the term annuity kind of thrown around in the retirement space before, do your research, look into it, and really only you can decide what is the best choice for you. We can't guide you on that because we don't know your life circumstances, but definitely do your research on it. And this is a really great product for a lot of people out there.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Malia. That's very insightful today.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, and now we'd love to hear from you. What topics would you like to hear about? What questions do you have for us? Send an email to drs.podcasts@drs.wa.gov. That's drspodcasts@drs.wa.gov. The Department of Retirement Systems provides this podcast as a public service, but it's neither a legal interpretation nor a statement of DRS policy. References to any specific product or entity do not constitute an endorsement or recommendation. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. Views and opinions expressed by DRS employees are those of the employees and do not necessarily reflect the view of DRS or any of its officials.